The United States conceptualizes and brands itself as a leader in the global community. Like many other problems of our day, nuclear weapons call us to be critical of such discourse of leadership. The United States is leading the world in many ways down an extremely dangerous and destructive path, as our country has normalized and perpetuated a global system that is fundamentally premised on the capacity to inflict unimaginable harm and violence, at times explaining this as maintaining a balance of power. It is through this premise that the United States imposes so-called order, but this is a contradiction of massive investments in harmful practices in the name of peace, stability, order. It is doublespeak that is pervasive in the major industries and systems and structures that violently determine how resources are allocated and exploited, how power is asserted and maintained, and how inequality is perpetuated. The dominant framing of the A bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki is most generously one of a necessary evil that inevitably spirals to one of evasion of any responsibility or accountability. Such harmful approaches and exceptionalism are part of how the United States maintains its power. These are not qualities of acceptable leadership. The stories of Hiroshima and Nagasaki challenge us to look deeply at the country we call home and at the government that acts in our name. The TPNW, meanwhile, is an international response by every level of government and civil society around the world that flat out reject any legitimacy given to these weapons of mass destruction. The ban treaty is an assertion of a different kind of leadership that does not hedge responsibility for disarmament or use nuclear weapons to impose political and economic interests. Indeed, the ban treaty is an extension of the anti-nuclear movement that emerged from Japan following dozens of United States nuclear tests in the Pacific Ocean that contaminated tons and tons of fish in the 1960s. The ban treaty is a rejection of both nuclear weapons technology, as well as a framework of domination that causes harm across the board.